Hello and welcome to another episode of the Final Siren. Friday night footy Oz, 47,000 rabid Dockers fans, mate, in full voice tonight for the Len Hall tribute match. But unfortunately, the Dockers not quite coming to the party.
No, the build-up was fantastic, and credit to the footy club for doing what they always do and putting on a great show for the Len Hall tribute game. And yeah, just unfortunately with 47,000 people in the house, you would think, here we go, time to shine Friday night, and it was just a tough summer, mate. Tough summer.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the big stage is for us, mate. Yeah. We're more of an off-Broadway kind of cats, So, Saturday night is the second game, on Fox.
Yeah.
That's where we want to be. That's the ideal time.
Mid-afternoon.
Sunday afternoon. Friday afternoon. Anytime afternoons, mate. Once we talk about nights, apart from Saturday night as the second game, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. But look, another disappointing situation, mate. We're hoping roaming Brian would be down here and talk to us on the mic, and he's over in the other change rooms. But look, the Freo Dockers 10-9-69, defeated by Western Bulldogs 17-16, 118. And look, the scoreboard was a little bit flattering in the end. Western Bulldogs shot out of the gates again. I don't think we've won a first quarter in a little bit of time now. But disappointing. And if it wasn't for their inaccurate goal kicking, it could have been over a little bit earlier than what it was. Look, the boys, to their credit, they fought back in the second quarter and the third quarter, but we just couldn't get that run of goals. We had a little bit of a time there where the Desert P kicked two in a row.
Yes.
That's Sturt for all those people out there. Sturt Desert P. There's a little bit of flora and fauna.
Yep.
I think is it flora or fauna? What's plants? Fauna? Flora? Okay, flora. So I got that, Oz. But look, apart from the Desert P kicking two in a row and looking a little bit dangerous there in a little bit of a purple patch.
Yeah.
Throw back to that. That's what we used to be called, mate. Purple patch. It was really it was a little bit of a slacking, to be honest. Backline were under pressure most of the night. Quite slow and steady ball movement out of the backline, which really doesn't work for us. But then when we go quick by foot, that also doesn't work very well for us. So anytime we had to not think, it was too quick to think, we actually looked really good. So the quick by hands, the link in the midfield via hands is what we need to start seeing. Because that's the play that gets us over the zone.
Yeah, look, interesting. Definitely there was that, I guess, death by slowness from the back line and trying to move that ball with precision, and unfortunately didn't pay off. And, we'll go back to the drawing board on that one. It was interesting as well, Duck, because, we had the ascendancy once again in the hit-out 62-42, but again, we just can't seem to take advantage of, Darcy's dominance in the ruck, and, was having a great game until he copped that knock over the shoulder, and then seemed to be injured from there. But, again, through the hit-outs, that's a real positive to take out, because we can get first hands to it, and then hopefully that builds onto clearances, but we seem to be struggling a little bit there. And are we taking full advantage of that, and how do we do that better? And I think across the board, Duck, just the players' belief in themselves and being the best version of themselves, and we all know what sort of football they can play, and just having that courage and conviction to take the game on and to really be them true selves. And what we saw from last year is taking that 45 and taking those small kicks on quickly and moving the ball quickly and with dare and with dash. And we know we can get back to that, and it's just a case of getting our heads around that and hopefully doing that from next week onwards, because we're running out of games, my friend.
Yeah, mate. And look, last week against the Gold Coast, in the second half we started to do that, and we started to move the ball with a bit more fluidity and a bit more quickness and a bit more urgency. It opened up in our forward line, but again, like you said, beaten at the coalface. I think it actually was a real big turning point, because it's quite interesting. The big Roaring Lobster missed the goal down one end, and the Dockers have gone down the other end. There was a contest in the middle, and big Sean Darcy just got clipped under the arm, and he knocked his back and his noggin a bit there. And then, from there, Freddie managed to kick the goal with a bit of Ronnie Corbett helping him out. But look, it's just really tough because that looked like we got the momentum back.
Yep.
You know, we go on coast to coast. We're really struggling to get our ball and transitioning it from day 50. And it was like, hang on, here we go. We've got a bit of mojo back. We've managed to transition it really well and kick a goal from a kick in. But then after that, it was kind of like, because of that knock to Darcy, Jackson goes into the ruck, you know, and Jackson and English are very similar type players in terms of their athletic ability. English obviously a little bit more, I guess, polished in the fact that he was a midfielder and then he had a growth spurt. So, look, realistically, once again, I think we were beaten up at the coalface. You know, Marcus Bontempelli's a freak, mate. He's a bloody good player. Liberatore, he's a freak.
Great hands.
Adam Treloar, just watching his game, and I know this isn't a Western Bulldogs podcast, this is all about the Dockers, but, geez, his gut running is something else.
Yep.
You know, and look, it again comes down to, I guess, I think we're lacking a bit in our structure with our wingmen and things like that. I think we're lacking a bit with our confidence coming out of the back line. You know, you go back and you rewatch last year's final, and there was just, even though we came back from a long way down, when we did start to gain ascendancy, there was just this real sense of belief, and it's something the boys are really lacking at the moment. And I think the big thing for me as a fan, and obviously for you as well, is that, you know, last year we played so well and we played with such confidence, and we kind of just came out of nowhere, and it was a big jump. You know, it really gets disheartening because you expect that again.
Yep.
So the expectations are higher, yet we haven't quite reached those expectations. I think going into the year and now reflecting back, look, St Kilda looked like they're a pretty good team. Adelaide looked like they're a pretty good team. So that's two tough losses. But then again, looking at today and the fact that both teams are 2 and 3, they've had good wins and some average losses, you know, and they're both teams are probably a little bit disappointed where they are at the moment. Bulldogs get to even that ledger and get their season back on track, whereas the Dockers, you know, being 2 and 4, and we've got a tough month ahead.
Yep.
You know, we play Brisbane at the Gabba. We got Hawthorn back here next in 2 weeks, so that's, you know, that'll be hopefully a solid win. And then we play, I believe, Sydney at the SCG. So Brisbane and Sydney away, both really difficult situations there, and then Geelong back at home. Now, Geelong, let's see how they go on the weekend. They might not be as good as what, you know, we expected. They've got a little bit of that premiership hangover, but they've still got bloody good players, mate. Yeah. So, you know, it's a really tough month ahead for the boys. Yeah. You know, and being able to turn this around now, you know, we're 2 and 4. So we need to get to that halfway point, or even that eight matches, or what is it, 10 matches?
10 matches.
And can we get back to 5 and 5? We're going to have to pinch one.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to go 3 and 1. And we're going to have to pinch one.
It's not beyond us, mate. Look, it's not beyond us, and let's just quickly go to the positives. If we can drag something out of the game, Caleb Sarong and his 35 disposals was fantastic, and he was just workmanlike throughout the 4 quarters. Obviously, with the high handball ratio, they're 26 handballs as well, but I'd like to see a little bit more by foot, but certainly his workman-like performance over 4 quarters was something else as well. What I'd like to see, you know, especially through the midfield is, you know, again, just that getting in and under and getting the ball out and extracting and looking at those angles and hitting that 45 kick and then moving the ball quickly. And when we did that, when we got our hands to the ball first, we actually looked really dangerous. I think that's when we looked the most dangerous throughout the entire game. And again, going back to what you're saying some time ago, you know, when we had that confidence and we were winning from last year, a lot of that build-up was coming from the back line.
Yeah.
A lot of that drive was coming from the back line. And, you know, we'll go back to that, and the boys know what's expected and what they need to do. And like, you know, from adversity comes opportunity, and there are guys waiting in the wings potentially down at Peel, and, you know, we've got young guys trying to push through as well. So there's always opportunity for these guys to come in as well. So, you know, as a supporter, you always try and look at positives coming out of the game. I know that was quite dire. I know certainly towards the end there that they had a run on goals and it didn't look great. But, you know, as a supporter, stick to some positives to hang your hat on and go, okay, well, next week, what can we do? What can we bring? What can we do a little differently to, you know, bring us closer to where we were last year, Duck?
Yeah, and I think credit needs to go to the Western Bulldogs.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, realistically, they came in with a really clear game plan, especially in their back line. They knew they had to do a real job on Sonny Walters, and I think it was Bailey Dale, or no, it was, what's his name, the red-headed kid. what is his name, who had an absolute cracker on him. So that's, things like that. It's just Ed Richards, that's his name. Ed Richards, I thought, was nearly best on ground in regards to how well he played on Sonny Walters. And Sonny Walters is in, absolute ripping form, and he just couldn't get himself into the game. And we know how important he is to be that finisher, to finish those goals off and things like that. But look, the Dockers just need to go back to the drawing board again. We need to, work on that transition football, work on going quickly, work on playing with, like pretty much
having the confidence
with gay abandon, mate. It's that idea that now I think that realistically what we've got to start to think about is, we've got no pressure on us now. Throw caution into the wind. We've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got absolutely nothing to lose. So we just keep working hard and keep doing the right thing. And hopefully we start to see a little bit of progress from some of these younger fellas, and we do start to see those younger guys maybe potentially now we start to blood the likes of the Erasmuses and your Noddy O'Driscoll, maybe getting him back into the team and on a wing and just trying to work through, getting some reps into some young blood.
And interesting to say that as well. I thought great to see the debutant Josh Corbett. You mentioned him before. Took a couple of nice marks. In fact, his first passage was in the wing, if I'm not mistaken. Picked it up, quick hands, resulted in a goal. So certainly didn't look out of place in his first game. Came on late in the third quarter. So great to see him debut. And again, as you mentioned, there's got to be opportunities for these guys coming in as well. It was great to see Sturt step up as well. Had a couple of great smothers early. His tackling pressure and his smothers were great. He looks great in front of goal. So, unlocking a few things here and there, I think, mate, again, you know me, I'm always trying to be super positive and take positives out of the game. And I think, you see these little glimpses, and it's just enough to keep you ticking over for the next week.
Oh, yeah, that's it, mate. And we'll see who plays well down at Peel on the weekend. We'll make some changes. We'll adjust, no doubt, the match committee and J-Lo and Belly, they've just got to make some hard decisions, I think, and we'll see from there.
Yep.
All right, we might take a break, and when we come back, we'll have a player to chat to. All right, Jordan. We'll get straight into it, mate. A little bit of a tough game out there. How do you feel at the moment?
Pretty deflated. Obviously, when you get done in the contest like that, it's pretty hard to just chase your tail for the rest of the game. And boys are pretty deflated. I thought our effort was really, really good. It was just more of a method tonight. And the Western Bulldogs, to their credit, were better than us tonight. Yeah,
it looked interesting where we were coming back, and it looked like we gained the ascendancy and some momentum, and then they were just able to slow that down with either a quick goal or something just to arrest that momentum. Did you feel like we were coming back and we had that chance, or from your perspective yet?
Absolutely, yeah. We got on a roll there, the back end of the second, I think it was, and coming into half-time we felt like we're going all right. We gave away a couple of soft free kicks, and then from then on, we just couldn't get things on our terms. They were able to hold up and steady the ship, to say, and they ran away in the last quarter due to smashing us around the contest.
Now, we've had a little bit of a slower start than what we'd probably hoped for this year, and even every first quarter.
Yep.
What's happening behind closed doors? What happens at the start of games? How are you guys feeling? Is it something that you guys are looking for, or are you just ignore and it'll just come to it, or it's not anything you're worried about, or what are you guys doing at the moment?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something that we're ignoring, that's for sure. And we're working on it behind closed doors. Obviously, it's a big thing. You want to start games well. You don't want to be coming from behind all the time. It's not fun. It's something we're working on, and it's not a thing that you're going to get right within 3 or 4 training sessions during the week. So we're working really hard. Like I said tonight, I don't think our effort could have been questioned at all. I thought we tried our asses off, and our method probably just wasn't there.
Yeah, it looked like certainly from the back half, there were times where we were moving the ball on quickly and taking that kick on, and we looked a lot more fluid. Is that something that we're trying to do a little bit more often, or is it just more taking what's offered to us, or how does that look for you?
Oh yeah, I'd say it's all of the above, to be honest. It's you got to take what the oppo give you, but you also you need to create some stuff sometimes, but it's also a fine line. It's a balancing act of not trying to start those chains up too deep in your defensive 50, because it's hard to, get the ball in the forward half of the ground. So, we're working on a few different ways back there, and obviously tonight we struggled with getting it out of our back half of the ground. So, I dare say there'll be something that we go to work on during the week, and we try and make inroads on as well.
Yep. Now, J-Lo's moved down to the bench for the last 2 games. How have you found that with him coaching from the bench?
Yeah, I actually really like it. JL's he's a very good coach, and just sometimes you just hear stuff from the horse's mouth when you come off the ground, and everyone likes to just hear directly from the head coach. So, he's really good. Obviously, when things aren't going so well, it's hard to, give guys feedback, but he's very good, and I find that the last 2 weeks in particular, I've really enjoyed having him on the bench, and the conversations around the change room are that, the boys have liked having him down there as well.
Obviously, a couple of new guys coming into the side. Good to see some, some new blood coming in, all that sort of stuff. Have you found, the new guys coming in and how they've adjusted to AFL life?
Yeah, obviously we've got a few young boys playing out there at the moment, and that's all a part of the journey as well. And they're very talented individuals, and it's good to see them earning their cracks and not just gifted games. And a bloke like Sam Sturt as well, who I think it was 2 years in between senior games. So really good to see him tonight. Rock up, keep working hard, and get a few snags on the end of his hard work. Not only just this pre-season, but over the last 2 years. So, and then obviously Josh Corbett's come in and had a really good impact. He's a bit more of an older head, but he's positive charisma around the club. He's really good for our group.
Now, how did you find you had a week away in Adelaide? How did you find that in terms of team building and morale and things like that with the boys?
Yeah, really good. Obviously, it's a bit different. You're sort of with your teammates a lot more than you probably are at home, because, you stay together, you eat together, you do all those sorts of things. And, it was obviously a tough loss to Adelaide, but a good week to, build towards Gold Coast, and we were able to bounce back and sort of get things to where we sort of felt like, all right, we showed some promising signs. And then obviously tonight, like I said, there was times I thought we looked all right, and then times where we just fell away and they got on top of us.
Yeah, look, last year took a lot of the competition by surprise with, how good we were, and deserved that final spot and played really strongly. And obviously, things have changed this year, but certainly the effort's there. So, is there anything that, you can kind of put your finger on to say, well, maybe we could be looking at this, or maybe we could be doing things a little bit differently here in, how we're playing or whatever it is? Or do you think it's more of a mindset? What do you think it is?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, it's probably a collection of a lot of things. It's probably not just one particular thing that's letting us down at the moment. But, it's easy to look back and from the outside and sort of have your say on what it is. And when you're actually out there and the heat's pressure on game day, it's pretty hard to execute sometimes. So, it's more just probably putting ourselves in those situations and getting comfortable with those, and as a group sort of maturing and taking on the feedback that JL and the coaches are giving us, and hopefully we can start to improve and put some better performances together.
Now, we're up against Brisbane next week, mate, up at the Gabba. Looking forward to the trip up there. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, obviously Brisbane at Brisbane, no better way to bounce back. We're going to move on to them probably as quickly as possible. Obviously, we'll review this game, but that's the thing. You've got to shift your focus onto who you got next week. So, we'll go away from this and work on a few things, I dare say, and we'll bring our best again next week, and hopefully we can start wrestling back some momentum.
Yeah, look, absolutely our best is right up there in the competition. Like, when we play our best football, it's scintillating to watch. It's great as fans to see it happen out there. And obviously we're all hoping that it happens next week against Brisbane. Are there a couple of things that you've got in mind? Obviously you can't give too much away, but perhaps coming up against Brisbane, a slightly different team and how they go about it compared to the Doggies that we're mindful of going into next week?
Off the top of my head, I don't have anything for you, but probably one I'd like to, as a group, we just got to stay together and not get too down on ourselves, because there'll be enough of that going on from the outside. So as a group within the four walls, we're going to get to work, get around each other, and bring our best attitudes this week, and hopefully we can start getting on top of things and wrestle it back our way.
Beautiful.
Cheers for joining us, Jordan. It's always hard after a really disappointing loss like that to come and talk to us two guys in particular, like these bloody morons. What's going on? But mate, thank you very much for joining us. It's really important to get that message back out to the fans that the boys are giving it their all, and it's just sometimes the breaks just don't go your way.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and it's a tough sport, but that's why we play it, because you've got to embrace these moments as well. So, thanks for having me, guys.
Can I just ask one more question? Sorry, mate. Just obviously Anzac Day clash. What was the atmosphere like pre-game, like the way that we set it up and everything? How did you absorb that, and how did that feel being a player out there?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. In particular, being side by side with ex-Vietnam war veterans and all that sort of stuff, and it was actually a privilege to be able to rub shoulders with some of those guys, because a lot of people these days probably don't get to meet anyone who's gone and fought for us as a country and that sort of thing. So it was an absolute privilege to stand shoulder by shoulder and go through all that stuff pre-game, and it gave us quite a buzz and a lift. It was very special.
Fantastic.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us, Jordan.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
Mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Alrighty, we'll wrap it up there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to subscribe if you're down here. Make sure you just keep ticking along. And look, the best thing about footy, there's always next week, guys.
Yep. Absolutely, mate. And again, you never know. There's a lot. The cliche is that a week is a long time in football. So we know the boys will get back to work, and they'll do everything they can in their power to turn things around. And you never know. It's a long season, mate. We'll see how we go.
It is. All right. Remember, we're Purple Rain. We're at Purple Rain 95, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to listen to our show that we do. We'll be doing a review of this show and a preview of the Brisbane Lions match as well on Thursday. So get around that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
See you later.